What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the Gundam Metaverse. If you haven't heard about the Gundam Metaverse yet, it's basically an online world, and when I say world, I actually mean a space station with limited access, in which the Gunpla community can come together and show off their kits, buy kits, watch episodes, watch a live event, and or just interact with each other. In this video, we'll be breaking down what's available right now and what's coming up in the future for the Gundam Metaverse online experience. I was fortunate enough to get early access to this, and so for those of you who are looking into getting into Gundam Metaverse, the first thing you need to know is that you do need a Bandai Namco account. I'm going to put the website to the Gundam Metaverse project down below so you can find it easily, and once there, just download the client when it becomes available to the general public. Alright, starting things off, like in any MMO game, we have our avatar customization. At the moment, we have about 20-ish different avatar styles that you can choose from, and each with exactly four different color schemes. You can tell that they tried their best to really give you a sense of connection with these avatars because they have very different outfits, very different color tones, hairstyles, etc. You can't actually change the hair, the skin tone, the eyes, or the build of the avatar. You can only change the color scheme on the first tab. Once you move on to the next tab though, you have 10 options for a headpiece, and these all come from the different kits as you can see here. For example, like the Gundam Aerial, the Bear Guy, Barbados, and the Wing Zero. They even include the V Gundam and Gundam Rose. After that, your next option is going to be choosing between 5 different back pieces. Afterwards, you'll move to the last selection, which is basically one of 5 weapon types. And from what I can see, you've got the Aerial, the Barbados sword, the Exia sword, the RX-78-2 beam rifle and shield, and then one dual wield that I'm not entirely sure where it comes from. And last but not least, you type in your name and then hit enter.
Zawardo.
Once done, you'll see a short cutscene and then enter this space station that essentially looks like the base in Phantasy Star Online. Movement is limited to jog and walk and no jumping, but you can fly in a zero gravity section that we'll check out later. Alright, and before we go anywhere, let's take a look at the map. Alright, so in this space station, we have 7 POIs. We've got the shop, the Fan Art Museum, Gunpla Builders Museum, Universal Century Museum, Theater, Live Space, and the Event Space. We're going to go one by one. First up, we're going to take a look at the shop. Now here, this is a hub where you can check out the available lineup of kits for purchase. What I like about this is that they have a 3D statue of the kit in the hall, and you can access either the kit's individual terminal or check out these other terminals that allow you to check out all the kits at the same time. Once at the terminal, you scroll for more information on a kit, you can see some photos, see some descriptions, and you can even check out the price and make the purchase if you'd like. At the moment, the lineup is only a handful of kits. They've got the latest 2 Gundam Seeds kits. They have a Gunpla RX-78-2 made from eggshells, which I actually built one recently. They have the Gunpla Neon Blue Gundam Aerial, the Zakupla-kun made from tea leaves, and the La Gundam entry grade from the latest Gundam Metaverse show. I think this was a neat way to involve people in their purchases. As opposed to scrolling online, you can come over, check out the kit in like a 3D space, and kind of build interest. So I'm hoping that this will develop even further and allow us to maybe even interact with the kit in like a 3D environment, in a diorama or something like that, so that we can build a little bit more excitement for our purchases. Alright, next up, we're going to check out the Fan Museum. Now this tiny little hall is basically where the developers have taken a bunch of the creative art that Gunpla community has created over the time. And if you go through this haul currently, it's mostly Witch from Mercury stuff, but you'll see what looks like posters or different art styles of the Gunpla community showing their love for the Gundam universe as a whole. So this is a cool, quick little museum dedicated for the fan base. Let's move on to the Gunpla Builders Museum. So this haul, I think, is really going to be the meat and potatoes of this entire experience. In this haul, you can see 3D renderings of scanned kits in all of their 780p glory. At first glance, these renderings are pretty atrocious, I'm sorry to say. It's really hard to expect them to capture the finer details of a kit with a 3D scanner. While I was browsing these, there was one Gundam, I think it was an Aerial, where it had the animated paint style on it, and though you can tell that's what the rendering is showing, it was not capturing the depth and just the animated look in general. You could see that that's what it was going for, but the 3D rendering just did not capture it well. However, they do have terminals that allow you to enter a room, much like the Gundam mobile game, where you can take photos of these kits in basically a display, and you can set the quality of the renderings. This lets us see much better resolution, but it does leave something to be desired. I took my time trying to play with these effects and such to see if I could find something I liked, playing with the saturation, the sharpness, the time of the day, things like that, kind of like the camera settings or like a Photoshop setting type thing. And the experience overall was it really didn't impress me. And I hope that as they continue to develop the 3D scanner and continue to develop this space, that we're allowed to do much, much more, and that the quality increases, because right now it's cool, but it's not that impressive. I think the real benefit from the Gunpla Builders Museum is the second floor. If you go up to the second floor, they have essentially zones of YouTube videos and basically message boards of tips and tricks from the Gunpla community. For example, there was one about photography and how to do stop motion. There was another one about how to paint your kit. There was another YouTuber or video of someone talking about kit bashing, putting together different kits, how to do it, how to have fun with it. I think that's really where it impresses me the most, because even myself, who's been doing this for a few years, but not all the way up to, a professional level, I found that some of these tips were actually useful. I really liked the painting tip. I really liked the stop motion thing. It was cute. And your avatar basically just stands there, watches these. And there looked to be a section where you could make comments, and it looks like there were some pre-rendered comments. Now, I don't know if this comes from the YouTube video itself that these things are coming from, or if it's the developers putting it in there to show the potential of making comments on these tips and tricks that they'll be showing with us. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to rotate those tips and tricks, but right now they only have about 4 or 5, and I'm curious because, we all know the world of Gunpla, there's so much to learn from it, like sanding techniques. So I'm curious how they're going to expand on this part of the Gunpla Builders Museum, because I think it would be, if not the most intensive and dense part, that would be of most appeal to the Gunpla community. Oh, and I forgot to mention, on the first floor, there's an artist's alley. It's basically like Instagram in the hub. You can scroll through pictures of people's actual work, photography. You've got their ID or their name tag associated with it, and you can even like the photos and you can see how many likes they have. And let me tell you, there are some nice pictures, like nice, even some I've seen online before. And I'm glad they're taking the time to show this recognition to the artists that the Gunpla community have. Oh, I forgot one very cool thing inside the Builders Museum. There is a terminal that allows you to select one of the scanned Gundam kits or Gunpla, and then you can sortie it in space. Now what's really cool about this is that you get the firing up sequence, right? Gundam turns on, you got that whole sequence, it shoots out into space, and then the enemy alert comes on. And they tease the fact that there will be Gunpla battles. Now right now they're saying that it'll be available next spring, but boy, that better come a lot sooner. If they bring that, it's going to be lit, bro. Like, that was super exciting. That was a wonderful tease. Alright, moving on to the next one. So the next one is the Universal Century Museum. It's exactly how it sounds. So you walk in there, and in the center, they've got 3D models of the UC kits. And they have some pretty cool poses. And as you go around the hall, you're basically shown different posters and different plaques of information of the UC timelines and the UC stories. What's even cooler, though, is that if you wanted to see a diorama of a special event or something, you can actually go to a terminal and enter. So right now, the one that I saw was the RX-78 slicing off the hand from the Xeon. And it's, I want to say the word iconic, but not iconic at the same time. But it's a pretty, well-known. It's a pretty well-known scene. And I took some time to play around with it. And what's really cool about these dioramas is that you can set it to drone mode, which allows you a lot more interesting, dynamic viewpoint of what's going on. So you can set the time in the day and then set it to drone, and it gives you a couple of options whether you want to see it from the front or from the back. And so as that scene is occurring, the drone will pan around and give you kind of like that dynamic action shot. And I think that's really cool. Other than that, this is literally just for you to catch up or to refresh your memory on the UC timeline. Alright, y'all, stick with me because we only have a few more things to take a look at. Next up, we're going to be looking at the theater. So the theater, at the moment, isn't showing anything. But it does give you insight on the fact that you'll be able to watch shows with your avatar, with other people, live there in the theater. We don't know if they'll do reruns. We don't know if they'll do premieres of new episodes. We don't know anything yet, but it's something to look forward to. The next venue after that is going to be the live space. The live space is where they're claiming they're going to hold live events such as music shows from popular artists doing opening themes and closing themes from the Gundam series. And that's all I know so far. At the moment, there's nothing scheduled, but we'll see what they put up in the future. In the last venue, which they dub the event space, this is where it seems like they basically just show off upcoming things. Right now in this venue, you'll see the Gundam Seed Freedom Gundam diorama. You can also see the latest Gundam Build Metaverse show. They'll put up some 3D renderings of the kits, and you can check them out in 3D space. It seems like they're just going to be using this space as like a promotional venue, where any latest, Gunpla movies or Gunpla kits or Gundam shows they'll use this as a promotional section to build interest. All right, so we made it to the end. But wait, there's more. So what's not on the map is that there are 3 POIs that you can check out. And one of them is the Mellow Terminal. Now the Mellow Terminal is essentially for the AI that's here to guide you throughout your experience, which I failed to mention at the beginning of this video. Mellow is the name of the AI. The next location is basically like a gacha / card binder. Every day you'll get to make a free pull from this gacha dispenser. And once there, you can then check out your cards in the binder. Fortunately for me, I ended up pulling one of the foil cards, and so you can see that in the reflection. And when you're checking out these cards in the binders, they give you the option to do the special art, which I think is for the foil card. And for all the cards, you can change it from the original, which is the Japanese language, or swap it to an English translation. Now the last point of interest, which I think is going to be the coolest one for everyone, is the RX-78 statue that is in the center of this hub. Once you approach this RX-78 statue, you'll notice that there's a barrier that says flight area. Once you enter that flight area, you can then begin to fly up and actually land on top of the RX-78. You can fly around it, and you can do some cool photos and just check out the kit, or the statue, excuse me. What sucks about it though is that it's only limited to that area. While I was up in the air, I moved out of the zone of the flight, and it just dropped me right to the ground. So I'm kind of hoping that in the future they'll introduce more of these zones, more of these flight areas, or maybe even just give it to us so we can have fun. Because right now, not jumping around is kind of cumbersome. Like, I would have expected something so simple to be included. But that's going to be it for all of the locations and the points of interest. To wrap this up, I think that this Gundam Metaverse project is really cool. I like that you have this environment that you can go to and hang out with more Gunpla lovers. I think one of the hardest things about our Gundam community is finding a venue in which we can connect. I mean, imagine all of those in different countries who are limited by, their access to things, where we can't, get together. I think it's going to be really cool. I hope they introduce a friend system and different systems where we can make it much easier to connect and stay connected with people once you meet them, once you garner friendships. I think there's a lot more that they could be providing here, but at the same time, this is their first stages, and so I hope that they'll really listen to the community once everyone gets access and starts talking about the things that they really want. I hope they listen to the community and provide those things, because I can see the potential here, and it's kind of only going to be as successful as they are willing to listen and to provide things that the community is looking for. Some of these spaces have a lot of good potential, like the Builders Museum with tips and tricks, and other spaces are clearly just for promotion, and I'm glad that it's not kind of forced down your throat. I'm not sure how the Gunpla shop will make things better, but I do like the fact that you can check out a 3D rendering of a model or a 3D kit. I like that you can hang out with your friends and watch a show, or maybe even a premiere of a show. It seems like there's a lot of potential here. At first glance, it's cool. It's like, I'll check this out here and there. Right now, I don't have a reason to log in every day and, continue checking out this environment. But I can certainly see myself logging in every so often just to check out what's going on, see if there's been any update. I think once they incorporate more things changing as they announce things, as things in the show change, like what would be really cool is if the space station had battle damage one day, right? If they did some type of live event where we all witnessed the space station get attacked and, you know, we're all like panicking, freaking out, kind of like that Fortnite thing, right? Maybe we don't interact with it, but we can see the environment interacting with us. You know what I mean? That potential, that stuff would be really, really cool. And I think that's where it would be most exciting. But here's hoping, you know, Bamco really does use their resources to make this that hub that they want. They want this to be the one-stop shop for all Gundam lovers, right? And I think that this is something that has potential. I recommend you guys to, you know, sign up, check it out for yourself, create your avatar, and, you know, keep track with what's going on, because I think that they're going to bring this up to a really good standard where people can enjoy this experience. So that's going to be it for this Gundam Metaverse project. I hope you liked my opinions on it. I hope you liked the showcase. They have stated that this will be open to the general in mid-October, which I personally think is, you know, now. So, you know, when they're vague like that, you don't really know exactly when that's going to happen. But keep an eye out for when this does drop for the general public, just for you guys to check it out. Thank you so much for checking this out with me, for sticking around. Tell me what you guys thought below about this entire metaverse location. Like, what are you most interested about? What would you like for them to do to bring into this metaverse project? And what is something that maybe is a concern of yours? Let me know down in the comments section below so we can talk about it. And I'll catch you guys next time.